talk. Welcome, everyone. Dark MAGA mode is engaged, and I'm heading to the radio station today. So I'm leaving early. Well, this is about the time I'd leave to go to Starbucks in my neighborhood. I'm leaving a little later than I would like to leave to make it to the radio station, I got to tell you. So it'll probably take me 30 to 40 minutes to get there. Then I got to set up. It takes me about 15 to 20 minutes to get set up once I get there. Welcome, everyone. Yeah, I haven't been to the radio station in a couple of weeks. So President Trump, during his gaggle, was talking about his third and fourth term because things are going so well. And President Trump got everything he wanted in Greenland for no money, which is amazing. And the art of the deal. This is one of the things I'm going to talk about if I have time today on the program this morning, so you guys get a preview. The deal that President Trump got was there are going to be parts of Greenland that will become sovereign U.S. territory. How much and where of the territory, we don't know yet. But there will be parts of Greenland that become sovereign U.S. territory. And on top of that, the United States will have a complete run of Greenland, even the Greenland under the Denmark control, forever. Forever. This is a permanent deal for the rest of human history. And what that means is we can do whatever we want in Australia. I'm behind on my coffee. In Greenland. We can do what we want in Australia too, in Greenland. The reason I said Australia is I was just watching online before I left a size comparison between Greenland, Africa, and Australia. This video, a guy telling us that Greenland's not as big as we think. And I saw today that this morning I read a story that President Trump ordered the construction of a whole bunch of bombers, and we're going to double our bomber fleet. So my guess is one of the many things we're going to do in Greenland is have a bomber base. You know, they can do the bombing runs to Russia from Greenland. We're going to have missiles all over Greenland, and of course we're going to get those mining rights. And I tell this to, no matter how many times I tell this to people, it just doesn't sink in. Read The Art of the Deal, okay? Or just watch Trump. Trump always asks for so much more, no matter what the deal is, so much more than he wants. And he turns the world upside down in a panic. Then they go to negotiate. They think he's made concessions. He's still gotten more than he wanted and a better deal. And the deal that he got in Greenland is so good, and it didn't cost 10 cents. And what he said yesterday was, things are going so well. Why not a third or fourth term? And, they are. Things are just going so well. President Trump and his team have the best negotiators in the history of the planet. I wish President Trump would loan Woodcock to me to just set up some deals for me in my career here, because I'd be set up for life. If Woodcock worked for me for a single afternoon, I'd be set up for the rest of my life. He's absolutely amazing. And yesterday, him and Jared had met with Putin, and then they went off. There's a Ukraine meeting going on right now to end that war. I was talking the other day that history has these inflection points, and when I was talking about it, I was talking about Minneapolis, and I was asking, is this church moment, this church invasion, this church break-in that Don Lemon led, is that a turning point, an inflection point with these anti-ICE lunatics? And sure enough, it is. We had 3 arrests yesterday. Don Lemon very well could be the 4th. But an inflection point, a turning point, the Maduro raid changed everything. When the world powers, including some of our closest allies who had no idea how advanced the weaponry we have that was used in Venezuela. This is a strange, I can't show this to you, but this guy, he's got a camera on the outside of his car facing up towards his wheel. I guess maybe he's a Instagram or a TikToker, and he's got a sports car and he makes videos about his car. I don't know. But anyway, the weapons that we used in the Maduro raid are weapons that are out of science fiction movies. And the rest of the world, I think, was shocked at how advanced American weaponry is, and it's changed everything. The Maduro raid, was for a lot of things, right? Shut down the cartels, stop the invasion of Venezuelan gang members. Venezuela will be taking back all of their people now, since it's a satellite. Venezuela is a satellite state of the United States. And by the way, Greenland is a satellite state too now, these are good things. But one of the main purposes and accomplishments from the Maduro raid, I don't think people realized, and that was the United States showing off our advanced technology that we have militarily. And just to use some profanity, I mean, it just scared the shit out of the world leaders, including China and Russia and Europe. And our closest allies had no idea we had that stuff. And they still don't know exactly what we got, right? If you're new to my channel, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. By the way, I'm using the mic from my Meta glasses as opposed to my regular clip-on mic I would use. The Meta glasses just never cease to amaze me, the level of technology in the Meta glasses. Oh my goodness. And this Greenland deal happened so easily for a variety of reasons, but one of the big reasons that it ended so well so fast was showing off our advanced weapons technology in the Maduro raid. In my community section here on YouTube, where you post stuff. It's kind of like if you look, if you go to the post section on my YouTube channel here, I got to open up my bottle of water here. It's kind of like social media platform, right? It's kind of like a Facebook section. A lot of you probably are not familiar with that, but I posted a video I watched yesterday on YouTube explaining some of the weapons that were used in the Maduro raid. Right now, well, I'm not going to say. There's a very famous person very close to me right now. I'm not going to say who. Very famous. And that advanced weaponry in the Maduro raid just freaked everybody out. President Trump is Tony Stark, yeah. He is Iron Man. I hate to drink a bottled water this early on a long drive. It's a long drive to the radio station. By the time I get to the radio station, I'm going to be bursting. This water, it's such a long drive, this water will have gone through my body before I get there. Although I'm pretty dehydrated, so who knows? My body's sucking it up like a sponge. I may not expel anything. But this is the greatest presidency that any of us will live through. This second non-consecutive term of Trump's is arguably the greatest presidential second term in history. He's one of the most historic, consequential presidents of our time. And I think he's right up there with Washington and Lincoln with what he's done. Lincoln freed the slaves. Washington freed us from royal tyranny, but President Trump has also freed us, right? He's freed us from the deep state, the permanent Washington class. He's freed us from the donors. He's freed us from China. He's freed us from these European snarky, self-important losers, leaders. He's freed us too, and he's freed the whole country. Now, my lead story today is going to be on this total BS story of ICE detaining this 5-year-old, which is what I'm going to start with. You know, on this new car, I'm not sure how to set the cruise control. Hold on. Is it working? No. That's the radio. Okay. This car has so many gizmos in it, I don't know how to use. I don't use cruise control very often, but I'm using it today. Don't speed in Florida. We have a whole bunch of new speeding laws. Oh, my goodness. But no, President Trump, I talk about this from time. He's a civil rights leader. Really, all these terrible people and groups and organizations that he's liberated us from, that he's freed us from. And a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that or recognize it, but it's the truth. This is the first day it has not been cold. It's 68 degrees, and it's going to be like in the 80s today, which is nice. I love it. And I brought my coffee. I don't have to go to Starbucks. So that shaves a little bit off of my time. When I was making this drive every day, I don't know how I did it. Using my home studio is, it's not just convenient. It's just the drive takes a lot of energy out of me before the show. Well, J.D. Vance at his press conference yesterday was just amazing. He's always great. He's so good. You know, whether it's the press conference yesterday, the White House press corps, when he's done those press conferences, or taking questions from these idiotic college kids at a Turning Point event, he always has a great answer for every question, no matter what it is. He always takes control of the conversation. He's very good. He's one of the best ever at the press conference, and that's saying a lot. I turned the heat on, but I'm going to turn the air conditioning on. I made the car too hot. I turned the heat up to 82 degrees. That's too hot. I just turned it down to 67. A degree colder than it is outside. Oh, no, he's very good. I don't know. Was he the debate champion at his college? I don't know. He's very good. And, there's 3 White House pregnancies going on right now, right? J.D. Vance's wife is pregnant. Caroline Leavitt's, of course, is pregnant. And Stephen Miller's wife is pregnant. So we got 3 White House pregnancies right now. Too much traffic. I had to turn off the cruise control. I'm surrounded by trucks. I got to get away from these 18-wheelers. People should lay off Erica Kirk. I mean, who trashes a widow? I mean, what, especially one whose husband died in such a tragic way. You guys should be ashamed of yourself. So should Candace Owens. Leave Erica Kirk alone. Have some class. I mean, that's just so indecent. It was just a couple of months ago. That's Democrats are lowlives. There's no doubt about it, right? But the way they talk about Erica Kirk is really like the worst. Should be ashamed of yourselves. All right. Cruise control activated. Whoa. The semi started to change into my lane. I got over just in time. Holy smokes. I don't think he saw me. It is classless. The way they talk about Erica Kirk, it's disgusting. Have some decency. But, these are liberals. They're indecent. It's just, she's got little kids that she's raising and dealing with this. But, the liberals, if they'll go after Erica Kirk, they'll go after anyone. I mean, they're just classless, low-life scumbuckets. And that's a fact. Yeah, so my lead story, what I'm going to open with today is the myth of ICE detaining a 5-year-old child. They saved a 5-year-old child is what they did. Those arrests yesterday that they made from the church are just great. And they're going to get Don Lemon. That leftist judge wouldn't sign the arrest warrant for Don Lemon, but they'll still get Don Lemon. They don't need that magistrate judge. But the three they arrested, that big mouth guy that was at the church with that weird voice, and then the two Black Lives Matter ladies. Those Black Lives Matter women were running the country in many ways during the Autopin administration. And now that they got him in custody, if they start investigating their finances, remember BLM was a big real estate scam. Candace Owens exposed that. Man, I just got hungry. I don't normally do that, but there's a sign for the rest stop, and they have a KFC at the next rest stop. Unfortunately, it's not open at 5:06 a.m. I would stop in and get me some fried chicken. I don't normally eat this early, but KFC sounds good, man. Maybe after the show, I'll stop in and get some KFC. Don Lemon. You got to wonder, what do you guys think? Do you think Don Lemon is worried, or is he so arrogant he's fearless? Construction. Construction work is just amazing to me. This is a new stretch of road I'm on, and it feels new, I'll tell you. This isn't even the final paving of it. It feels it's nice. It feels good. Oh, and today's Friday. That means open MAGA Mike Friday. It's open phones on Friday show. Remember, guys. So you could call in about any and everything on your mind on Friday show. Those of you that are new to my channel, on my next stream, I'll be in the studio taking your calls live. The number will be pinned in the live chat. And Monday through Thursday, you got to call in and talk about what I'm talking about. But on Friday's show, you guys can call in about any and everything on your mind. But I do have a lot of things to cover today. Now that we know that Pam Bondi can arrest people after the BLM arrest yesterday, the church arrest, let's see if she'll go after the Somali pirate fraudsters now with the Leering centers and all of that. You know, that Leering Center sign, I mean, that's such a crazy sign. You know, somebody had to paint that sign and misspelled it. Then they hung the sign up, and then the people that are in the office, and nobody realized that they spelled it wrong. I mean, it's just crazy town. You know, it's one thing to misspell it when they paint the sign. That happens sometimes. And they fix the sign. But how many people had to see that sign before it got installed? And then the people that own the Leering Center, they let them put up that sign and nobody noticed it. Nick Shirley's amazing. You know, what Nick Shirley has opened up is out of this world amazing. Now, another thing, too, that corrupt DC cop that was at the Jack Smith hearing yesterday, you know, the J6 cop, total scumbucket. One of the other things I'm going to talk about, too, you know, all these people go back and forth with that guy. He is just a classless guy. And he's covered in tattoos, which I didn't know police officers could be covered in tattoos like that unless they're doing some deep cover with the drug cartels. I mean, what the hell? But I've been pointing this out about this guy for years. He got in these F-bomb arguments yesterday with multiple people. He's got this massive blackout tattoo on his neck. And if you're not, and I imagine most of you know what that means, but for those that don't, a blackout tattoo is when somebody has a big just shape. Those blackout, you know, and it's his whole neck has this big blackout tattoo on it. He's covering something up. What is the tattoo that he's covering up with the blackout tattoo? I'd like to know. Usually when people get blackout tattoos like that, they're covering up usually something racist, like a swastika or something like that. But I don't know what's under that. What was the original tattoo? Sometimes people will have tattoos. They'll have someone's name. They'll go and get that fixed. They'll get the tattoo turned into something else. The blackout tattoo is a tattoo of last resort. So I don't understand why these I've been talking about this for years. The story on that animal is investigate what his original neck tattoo was that he has the blackout tattoo for. I'd love to know. You know, I've never known someone to get a blackout tattoo like that unless it was something hardcore racist. Because most tattoos, you can get turned into something else. But whatever he had on his neck couldn't be turned into something else by a tattoo artist, so he got the blackout tattoo. And if they want to get that guy off his high horse, let's find out what his original tattoo was. It's probably something very racist, because they usually are. I mean, he acts like just a savage. It's hard to believe that guy was a cop. So 5:14, 45 minutes till showtime. So I'm cutting a little close. I really should have left. I left about 15 minutes later than I wanted to. I'll be on time, but sometimes when I'm setting up, something comes up, I got to fix something and troubleshoot it. And it's just, when I'm cutting it close, I don't like it. To me, if I'm early, I'm still late. I've always been that way. I got to tell you, though, for these live streams, using the meta glasses for the microphone, it's much better than using the clip-on mic. Welcome, everyone. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. I mean, other than something racist, what would a guy like that have on his neck that he would get a blackout tattoo like that? Would you say it's probably something racist that he covered up with the blackout tattoo? Yes or no? I'm going to say a big yes. I mean, I can't, not that big, that they couldn't turn into something else. Mm-hmm. And there's got to be photographs of him that people have before the blackout tattoo. I can't think of anything that other than something racist that you get a tattoo like that. And I don't know why no one's thought of doing that. All these news outlets that are always talking about him and investigating him, I don't have the resources to do that. If I'm a loser, what does it make you that you're watching me? Oh my goodness. If I'm the loser and you're watching me and commenting in my chat, you've got to be worse than a loser. I don't know what's lower than a loser. A lot of cars on the road today. There is a lot of traffic. And these are people that are going to work. You can tell by the vehicles, work trucks, 18-wheelers, pickups. I got to make sure not to miss my exit, because Since I'm not going to Starbucks, I'm not getting off at my normal exit. I'm getting off at one south of where I would normally get off. All right. Got a few miles still to go. Now, I don't know how long he's had that blackout tattoo, but they could do some investigating. There's someone that has pictures of him with the original tattoo. Someone in his past. And the guy's so nasty. He's got a long line of people in his personal life that don't like him. He's too nasty. Right? I mean, there's just something about that guy. What's his name? Ferrone? See, a lot of traffic on the road. I'm getting close to my exit, though. No, I don't want to get behind this dump truck. All right, let's see here. How far is my exit? Dump trucks are always spitting out rocks, so I got to get away from this guy. Doesn't look like he's picked up his load yet. All right, sign's coming up. I've lost track of where I am. I don't take this road too often at this hour, so I've been on the road 35 minutes already. Okay, is this the next exit? It is the next exit. But I mean, what Trump got with Australia was just amazing and beautiful. You know, Greenland, those European countries just caved immediately to give Trump Greenland. Okay, great. Here I am at the exit. That Scott Bassett takedown of Newsom was hilarious. And you know, Scott Bassett, because he's openly gay, the Treasury Secretary, that takedown he did of Newsom was a gay man's attack. He called Soros' son his sugar daddy, and he was talking about the sparkling Ken doll. I never heard of a sparkling Ken doll. That's pretty gay. If he knows about the sparkling Ken doll and sugar, it's pretty funny. He's funny. All right, I'm at my exit. Newsom was just humiliated at Davos. I'm sure he regrets going. Not that he would ever admit it to anybody, but he definitely regrets going. I mean, that was not a good trip for Gavin Newsom. Yeah, this dump truck. I'm off the road now, but this dump truck has a full load of I don't know, some kind of rock. I'm gonna let him get way the heck in front of me. Oh, he's going the same way I'm going. Let me see if I can pass him. No, great. I have to stay way behind this truck. Newscom, not only was he embarrassed, he knows it. I mean, he feels completely humiliated. He's probably physically ill from that humiliation. He's never been humiliated that bad. Not since that Target trip. That was worse than the Target trip he made. All right, now I can pass this truck. I'm off the highway now. Now I'm really cutting it close. But I'm almost to the radio station, so. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. This is where MAGA comes to talk. But he doesn't only know that he was humiliated, and he was humiliated in Davos. He was humiliated all over the United States because all of those things were trending. And if he ever had a hope of being a presidential candidate that was successful, that was destroyed at Davos. He's just not ready for it. He's not that smart at all. He's kind of dumb. He's not quick-witted at all. He's just not presidential material. He can go back to being mayor of San Francisco again. "35 minutes till the radio show starts." I missed the turn that I wanted to take. All right, I'm at the radio station. All right, guys, I got about half an hour until showtime, so I'm going to go. Make sure that you are subscribed. On the next stream, I'll be in the studio taking live calls. And remember, it's Friday, meaning open phones, open MAGA Mike Friday. You can call me on the air about anything and everything on your mind. Show prep's up to you guys today, all right? I'll see you in a few on the next stream. Thanks for watching.